Hello everyone and welcome back to Great Broadway Fans YouTube channel. I'm Luke and today I'm bringing you a very special video. Courtesy of Entertainment Weekly, we have finally got our first official look at Disney's live-action, full fairy tale, full musical remake of Beauty and the Beast. Yes, the movie is a couple months away, being released on March 17th. And the producer, Jack Maurice, has promised a full-length trailer this month. He didn't say when, but he promised that it will be this month. And these, oh my gosh, these pictures, they just came out of nowhere. And I am completely blown away at how gorgeous these pictures are. So I'm going to start with the cover, and then we're going to go through each and every one of the photographs. I'm basically going to give my thoughts and opinions on what we have seen so far. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited, if you can't already tell. All right. So the first, obviously, we have to start with the cover. And I'm speechless. This cover is so gorgeous. It's absolutely stunning. I mean, and something that I just love about Emma's performance, even just with this still photograph alone, is that she's so much of a natural beauty. And that's something that I really appreciated when I saw the teaser trailer, because she didn't look like she had on any makeup. But you know what? Emma Watson doesn't need to be all dolled up in order to look beautiful. She just is beautiful. And I'm going to be perfectly honest about something. Growing up and still watching this movie to this day, I was never a huge fan of the gold dress. I especially didn't like the long gloves that Belle put on, and she had her hair all dolled up with that golden clip that kept it in a bun, but then she wore her hair long. It just didn't look like something that Belle would wear. She was very plain and ordinary with her clothes, but she was just a natural beauty. She didn't need to try hard. And that's exactly what this looks like. I mean, it's just the way that Emma's hair is designed and just pulled back just a little bit is fantastic. She doesn't need makeup. She doesn't need long gloves. She just looks effortless in this part. And Dan Stevens, oh my gosh, does he look incredible. This, I will say, is a lot better than the leaked photograph that happened a couple weeks ago. I'll put it in right now so that you can compare the two. This was a leaked photograph that illegally got into the hands of someone, and it was not officially authorized by Disney. And I wasn't really a fan of it because A, I didn't like the horns, and B, I wasn't a fan of how dark his fur looked. But this cover photo, I don't know if it's the light or if they color corrected his fur, but it looks so much better, like 10 times better than that photo. I will say one thing that I'm not a fan of, and that's the fact that Emma is not smiling. Yet there was another photo that was leaked of the two of them waltzing with a different dress design, actually, where she was smiling, and I'll put it right here so that you can compare the two. And she's smiling in this photograph, but she's not smiling in the cover for this. But overall, I mean, the production design of the ballroom behind them looks gorgeous, and yellow and blue really do look fantastic next to each other. So next, we're going to look at this photo, and this is the one photo of the bunch that I'm not a fan of for two reasons. One, I don't like her expression. She just looks very somber, and she doesn't look happy. And at this point in the movie, she's supposed to be happy with the Beast. Or, I mean, she's not in love with him yet, but she's definitely has seen that there's more to him than his outward appearance. And also, the shoulder looks weird. I mean, going back to the cover, I don't know if it was because her hair was in the way, but the shoulders just looked a little bit better than this photograph. Maybe it's just a weird angle. But that production design, I mean, this has an Oscar written all over it for costumes and production design and probably cinematography. I mean, this is just, it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. And Emma, I can't wait to see her performance in this. It's going to be great. Okay, now this is my favorite photograph of the two of them in the Beast library. Once again, fantastic production design. This library looks amazing. And I love how, this is going to sound really stupid, but I love how human the Beast looks with Emma holding that book. I mean, he doesn't look like an animal anymore. He's dressing a little bit nicer, and his like hair is all neat and everything. Also, I discovered via The Hollywood Reporter that Dan Stevens was actually on location, on the set, wearing stilts and in full animal makeup, but then also doubled the performance by doing it in motion capture. So it's a combination of prosthetics and motion capture for the character of the Beast. And I think that that's really, really good, because as much as I adored the Jungle Book that just came out earlier that Jon Favreau directed for Disney, the fact that I knew in the back of my mind that none of those actors were actually on set, that it was a complete CGI bear, a complete CGI panther, wolves, the tiger, the snake. I'm happy that Dan Stevens is actually there physically, and he's not a fully animated or CGI character like the Enchanted Objects, but we'll get to them in a second. I also love Emma in this. I think that her expression is kind of funny. I bet that this is probably that moment that's in the preview where she's like, "What are you reading?" And he's like, "Nothing." And I bet that that's that moment. Like, she stumbles upon him reading a book, and she's like, "What are you reading?" And she's all curious. I'm not sure how I feel about the pink, though. I mean, that blue dress is so iconic. The pink right here, I don't know. It's just not working for me. But aside from that, gorgeous. Fantastic. So next up, we have our Enchanted Objects. I have mixed feelings about these. Two of them I really like, and two of them I'm iffy about. Let's just go from left to right with this picture. Cogsworth, perfect. I mean, absolutely what you would think. Like, he's like a mantle clock that's been brought to life. And he definitely looks the closest to what he was with the concept art, as we saw earlier a couple weeks ago. And I think that the way that the hands or the mustache and his eyes, they're so tiny in there, but they're there. I think that Cogsworth looks fantastic. Mrs. Potts, on the other hand, she looks beautiful, but she's way too tiny. I mean, that is the tiniest teapot. Either that's the world's tiniest teapot, or that clock and that candle are freaking huge in comparison to the teapot. I mean, it just looks odd. Like, in the animated movie, they were pretty much all relatively the same size. I mean, sure, Lumiere and Cogsworth were taller than Mrs. Potts, but she wasn't tiny. I mean, that's like Chip level small. I mean, if that's what Mrs. Potts looks like, then how tiny is Chip? I mean, is he going to be like a shot glass? Like that tiny? Like, that's just crazy. But I also wish that the eyes were just a little bit easier to see. And bigger. But the teapot looks beautiful. It's just too tiny. Now, Lumiere is pretty interesting. I like him because I love the fact that they kept it gold and they have the candles and everything. And it's definitely very, very different than the animated movie, but it just is not what I was expecting. I mean, the Lumiere that is animated is pretty iconic. I mean, I recently went to the Disney store and I saw a stuffed animal version of Lumiere, and that's what he looks like. He doesn't have two legs. He doesn't have a human face. The face is in the wax, and his two hands are like this. And the fact that this is basically like a statuette of a person with candles on it, it's a big departure, and I have mixed feelings about it. Now, the feather duster, on the other hand, what the hell? I mean, that's not a feather duster. Like, that doesn't have enough feathers to be a feather duster. I mean, that is like a tiny, like, artistic brush that you would use to, like, brush away your pencil shavings. I mean, that is not a feather duster. Although, I do love the handle. The handle of the feather duster and the actual face are very, very beautiful. I mean, gorgeous. Just like a swan. It's just there's not enough feathers, and it looks like she's floating. It really does look like she's just floating. And she looks too thin and like tiny and too delicate for like Lumiere to like touch and have a relationship with. It's going to be interesting. I need to see the performance. But you know who's really doing a fantastic job is Luke Evans. This photo is fantastic. I mean, this is obviously going to be in the tavern during the big Gaston musical number. The back wall of the tavern, the fireplace, I will say, is the one thing I don't like about this. Everything else is fantastic except for the back wall. It's a big departure from the original animated movie with all the antlers. But he looks amazing. That red really pops. The sword is new. I mean, Gaston never carried a sword. The only weapon that he really had was either his bow and arrows or his musket gun that he has at the very beginning of the movie. But he didn't have a sword. And it's great. It really, really does look great. Everybody looks like they're having a good time. And I think that down in the left corner, the three women that have the bows in their hair, maybe those are the three bimbettes, as they're called. The girls that are in red, green, and yellow that are obsessed with Gaston in the animated movie. Maybe those are those three girls. Who knows? Now, here's a different photo of Gaston with Josh Gad as LeFou. I am not a fan of LeFou's hat. I think it doesn't look right with the character. The bow tie and everything else looks great, but just not that hat. Gaston, on the other hand, he looks fantastic. Black hat, he has a different coat, obviously, than when he's in the tavern. And that beautiful countryside just looks fantastic. Gorgeous. Gorgeous world building. So next up, we have this photograph of Emma, and we've seen this shot, actually, this is the ballroom, because we've seen this shot in the teaser trailer. So she's obviously up on like a gangway or like a walkway that's above the ballroom where you can go to the windows. Now, here's my one question. What is she holding? Is she holding a sponge or like a cleaning rag? I didn't think that Belle was supposed to be cleaning in that castle. I thought that the Beast had, obviously she's being held there because she's willing to sacrifice her own life so that her father can go free, but she never cleaned in the animated movie. Like, are you going to make her clean in addition to being a prisoner here? Like, that's kind of unreasonable. I am going to say something that's not going to go over well, but I really don't like the interpretation of the Beauty and the Beast story on Once Upon a Time. I think that the actress is not right for the part, and I really don't like the fact that Rumpelstiltskin is the Beast and he forced her to be a servant in his castle. I mean, obviously she's still selfless and she's still intelligent, but I just don't like the idea of Belle being forced to clean in the Beast's castle. But the photo looks brilliant, and I love the fact that her dress does not go all the way to the floor. I think that showing a little bit of ankle definitely is very modern for a character like Belle, who sticks out in the crowd. So next up, we have this photo of Kevin Kline as Maurice, and once again, Belle as Emma Watson as Belle, excuse me. Emma Watson is Belle. This is so cute. I absolutely adore this photo. This is just so fantastic. I love all the knickknacks that are on his desk right there. I love the giraffe, and I love the windmill that he's building, and she looks really happy with him. I will say, though, I think it's a little weird that he's so old. I mean, with the white hair. I mean, that's the only weird thing that weirded me out as a child. Like, is that Belle's father or her grandfather? I mean, if Belle is supposed to be, I mean, late teens, early 20s, I mean, Emma Watson, I think she's like 22 or 23. And Kevin Kline is supposed to be playing this old man as her father. That just seems weird to me. It's always seemed weird. But, I think that her dress looks great. I think that the necklace is fantastic. And I can't wait to see Kevin Kline in this part. He's a great song and dance man. He has a Tony Award. And there is going to be a new song that is being written specifically for this movie where it is a duet between Maurice and Belle, one of the 5 new songs written specifically for this movie. And so next we have this photo of Bill Condon on set with Emma Watson's Belle. We saw the reversal shot of this. It was one of the 2 leaked photos that happened of her on this bookcase. I thought for a second that she was in the bookstore in town, but this is clearly the Beast's private library in the castle, which is really interesting. I don't know what's going on with that clip. It looks like it's like a yellow arrowhead that's on her hair, which is a little bit weird. And I don't know if that's a boom that gentleman is holding, or if that's a camera. No. I'm sorry. That's the camera in the middle right side of the frame. That's either a boom or that's going to be like Dan Stevens' CGI head is going to go there. I don't know. But the production design just looks fantastic, and Emma's just amazing. She's just amazing. So amazing. All right, you guys. Well, is that everything? I think that's everything. Yeah, those are all the photos that have been released by Entertainment Weekly, courtesy of Entertainment Weekly. So I'm so excited. The photos look fantastic, and we're going to be getting a trailer that's coming very soon. I will be doing a live reaction to that as soon as the trailer debuts, which will be this month, so be sure to look for that. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you are not already subscribed. You can follow me on my Instagram at GreatBroadwayFan, on Twitter at GreatBroadwayFan, and leave a comment down below which one of the photos is your favorite. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.